everybody, welcome to my stamp studio. My name is Cheri. Welcome to 2022. This is my first video of the new year. I remember when it turned the year 2000, and that was 22 years ago. And when it turned 2000, that seems like, you know, it was such a huge number as far as years go, and here we are 22 years later. But tomorrow, if you're watching this the day the video posts, will be the kickoff for our new mini catalog. So I can't show you the inside of this, which is really killing me. So the card I made today, I'm gonna kind of use several suites on, so you want to check back tomorrow. And you can go over to my blog post on Tuesday, the day the catalog's live, and that's when I will be able to put the products on. But the card I'm going to do today, I'm really torn. I haven't 100% decided, and I have to decide by the time I send the email out that goes with this what my first online class of the year will be. Because, yeah, well, I'll show you in a second. And it kind of is good because at the last minute, if there's any supply shortages, because, you know, 2021 leads into 2022, which in the year 2000, who knew that we would be less in America than we were then. So if there's any supply chain issues and I can't get a product, at least now I have a backup, because I'm really torn on what to do with my first online class. So if you need a catalog and you are in the US, I'd be happy to send you one free of charge if you don't have another demonstrator that you buy from. So just send me an email. Head to my website if you're not on my email list, and then when it pops up, you can just fill in your information and I'll send you one. So the set I'm going to use today is a bundle, and it's called the Grassy Grove. So it is super fun, and here's what I'm torn about. I think this obviously is year-round, so it's a stamp set and then a bundle. I'm going to use several of the dies today, but not all of them. So I did pull out two that I'm not going to use, because there's two deer silhouette dies, and I'm not using those. And then there's like ones that do the trees and some other dies I'm not using. That's why I'd like to show you the inside of the catalog, but I can't today. But these are super fun. So when you see this, obviously it could be all season. Isn't it a great, it can be masculine, it can be birthdays, it can be thank you. I'm going to use this sentiment right here because it's perfect for kind of sympathy, thinking about you. It's a great sympathy without saying, I'm sorry. And you know, we've needed more sympathy cards maybe than we have in the past. So I'm going to use Grassy Grove, and then I'm going to use the Horizon Designer Series paper, which I've been working on my Try It class. And this paper is just fabulous. So no matter which way I go, if I use the Horizon bundle or if I use the Grassy Grove, the paper is going to be what's featured. So you may have seen this. Y'all are funny because these are little beach houses, and I guess because my husband's from Melbourne, Australia, and these little beach houses are like kind of like when you see the little beach houses, that's their thing. Like you see the beach houses, and I guess it's because I chose gray green, that's my favorite color, but it also matched the paper and it matches the little stones. But some of y'all thought they were tombstones. Y'all must like Halloween more than I do. I did not see tombstones at all, but a bunch of you did. So if you see tombstones, you can whip these back out come October and you'll already have a little tombstone stamp. They're little beach houses, little lake houses, like little fishing sheds off in the distance. That's what they are. But you know, we're creative. So if you saw them as tombstones, feel free to whip them back out later. And I do intend to do a little Melbourne seascape, and then they all paint them. And I know other places in the world do too. But you can paint them all your little things. But you know, it's winter here and it was Christmas, and I could have done 8 cards with today's and just filter through this paper because it's fabulous. So the paper will be featured one way or another. I'm still so undecided and I have to decide. So if you missed this video, lake houses, it's not a tombstone, it's not a cemetery card, although it could be, you know, it could be a pioneer who's been watching 1883. It could be, you know, a old cemetery off in the distance. It could be that too. There's nothing creepy about that. But it is a lake house scene. So the one I'm going to do today, this paper is just so much fun. It is one of the best papers we've ever had. So here's the paper. Is it the same paper? And sometimes I even get confused. Is that the same paper? It's not the paper I used on today's card. Maybe it is. Maybe I used the same paper on the first card. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to remake the same card I've already made one with this paper. I didn't know I used the same paper. I must really like this paper. I'm going to do the same card again with Grassy Grove, but this time I'm going to pull out a different paper. But I'm going to do a winter card, but I want you to, now look, I could do the same card and do a spring card. You can do a fall card maybe with this one. There's one in here that would make a fabulous summer card. Look, these could be summer cards. Look at this. So keep in mind as I'm doing this card, that's why I'm torn, because I could do this online class and we could do Grassy Grove and do seasonal cards. I just don't know what to do because this paper, look at this. So keep in mind when I do this card I'm going to do now, I'm going to do a winter one, but you get this pack of paper and this stamp set, and make sure you go to my website because I always have fun catalog kickoff specials. So I'm going to do a winter card, but now you've seen this and in your mind, take it all seasons. So let's do the card. It comes together so fast. So even though I rambled, we'll get it done super fast. And like I said, because I can't open the catalog and because it was Christmas, that's always hard this time of year for me because I do spend time with my family and I take a couple weeks off. But because I take a couple weeks off at Christmas and I have my Try It class, which is my largest class of the year, it's kind of hard for me to get a bunch of samples done. So for this, obviously it's a 6x6 design. I'm going to do my card and I want it to be this way. So I'm going to use a piece of vellum and this is already cut. I'm going to use no layering. It's just going to be straight 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 because I want to use as much of this paper as I can. So because I've got this, I can use it as a guide. So I want to see exactly where I want this to fall. So pretty much this one, this way across is good. So I'm going to get as much of this kind of mountain scene up here as I can. I do want to keep some water. I'm not going to put any tombstones on this one because I'm using the other set. So I don't even have to measure on this one. So it's early in the morning and it is sunny. We have the last few times I have filmed, it has been gray, 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 gray in Indiana. But today it's super sunny. So that kind of helps. So got that. Now I know this needs to be 4 1/4. So now I can measure, but that just kind of helps me decide what I wanted to show on my card. So now we've got 4 1/4 and it needs to be 5 1/2. And on this particular piece of paper, it doesn't really matter which direction I go. So I'm just going to cut that 5 1/2. And then I am going to use a couple of these pieces. So I'm going to keep these. But look, now if I flip this over, I could do the exact same card and maybe I'll flip it over just to show you and I could make a summer card. This is the winter side of the paper and not all of them are like that. Just this one happens to be. So I'm going to take, this uses pretty minimal supplies. We have the paper and then we have the vellum and then we have white cardstock. So this little scrap piece here. And I'm going to take gray granite. I almost switched the color. I went with gray granite because that's what matched the first paper that I used, but gray granite's my favorite. And I'm going to stamp this deer. It stamps beautifully. This deer is really, really pretty. So ink this up. Stamp it. And then I'm going to go ahead and stamp the inside of my card just because I have the stuff out. So it's just going to be a whisper white, basic white. They changed the name because we changed suppliers. COVID, you know. So, but like I said, this is going to cover up the whole entire card, our thing, so it doesn't really matter. So I've got this beautiful saying in wrong color. I'm going to go Night of Navy. And then I will read it to you. I have not yet put any of my stickers on any of my sets from the January mini catalog yet. It's all I can do to get stamping. So this one says, sometimes you need to know that someone really cares, that someone is me. And obviously you can tell I put them all on here because it didn't fit on the front of my card, but it's done so you can put one on the front and one on the inside. Love that. It's a great sympathy. Isn't that perfect for sympathy without saying with sympathy? Because sometimes, you know, you just don't want to say with sympathy. It's a much more creative way to say it. And then just because there's so many beautiful stamps in this set, and this keeps it, so it could be a sympathy. It could just be kind of a thinking of you. Last December, not this past December, I had COVID. So, you know, this is, and it was back when COVID was bad. Not the cold version that people are getting now. But beautiful. Isn't that just pretty? And now you can see, you could take this set without this paper and just stamp this and then do a couple of those deer silhouettes and just add that and have a really pretty simple sympathy card. But now our stamping's done. So let's do our die cutting. I'm trying to put that someplace where it doesn't get dirty. So for the die cut for this was the reason I bought this set to start out with. Is because look at this. This is just beautiful. And it's one where, because I was in a hurry this morning, I ran it through first without doing my thing that I always tell y'all to do when you get new dies. Put them all in some scrap paper and run them through. Because I ran it through first and I wasted a piece of vellum because I didn't really understand how it worked. But this is cut, this piece here, it needs to be cut the size that it's going to be because it doesn't cut the trees out. So it's cutting a frame. So this obviously was the full quarter sheet of cardstock. And it's pretty detailed. And vellum isn't a very sturdy cardstock, so I'm going to roll it through twice. So just put it on here, make sure it's straight. Okay, so we did cut a bunch of die cuts for my Try It class over the weekend, and my husband dressed up for me. So if you've watched my recent series, it's not all the way posted yet. I'm going to do it one more time. On my die cutting class, the how-to series for die cuts, we talk about plate care. Well, my husband has told me that from now on, if he's going to help with die cuts, this is how you know it makes a difference. He's only using new plates because he's realized how much better new plates cut as opposed to old ones. So he's like, I'm happy to help, but I'm not using your old plates anymore. They just don't cut as well. So I'm like, well, I need your help, so use my new plates. So now let's do the deer. Where did I put her? I think it's a fawn. I don't know. I'm not a hunter. I'm not a deer person. And now where did I put the die? Here it is. I have all of the try it stuff on my table as well. So she's here's a die cut tip. She's a framelit. So I want to make sure she goes through first. So if she moves at all, it doesn't matter. And then you get these two little leaves. Now you could use a whole lot more because you get a lot of offcuts of this. So I'm gonna just pick two places where we'll get some fun mix of colors. So let's do that there. And then that there. And see, you still have all these other offcuts that you can save like this. You can use later for lots of pretty green leaves. And not even with these dies. And here's some fun. When I cut the other one, I ended up with one large strip because of the way I needed the paper. And I'll show you that at the end. So you can see the same exact cards and just how they look different because of the paper. That one you only need to go through once. So let's take these. And because I used a brand new plate and because I ran through a couple of times, the first time I had to poke a couple of things out. And it's not, sometimes with the, see these right here? Vellum's just picky. But I'm gonna run it through the timber folder. So put this piece in here. And it may tear a couple of the trunks of your trees, but that's okay. Don't panic if it does. Because again, vellum is there's a new vellum in the January mini catalog that's beautiful. It is on the card I just made for Try It. But we're gonna fix this if it tears it, so don't panic. But look how fun this is. And now that we've run it through, see a lot of those things that were stuck in there, now they're in my folder instead, but it does help push them through. So now just make sure that they're all, this one did not tear them. The first time two of my trunks busted. So if they bust, it's okay, because we're gonna just put it on the card. Now, you know, anytime you want to adhere vellum to a card, it's a little bit of an issue, right? So we have this here, and we just need to adhere it. So I thought about different ways. I thought about using dimensionals and kind of raising it up, and then trying to put some embellishments over the top. Just gonna give you my thought process. But then as I looked at it, Like when it's raised up, you kind of lose that. And when it's pressed down, look how much better you see that background. So as much as green glue is sometimes not my friend, because when you get it stuck, and I did get it a little bit on my fingers, I just went and washed my hands, you know, and then we're safe anyways. Get rid of all those germs, even though I haven't left the house for a couple of days. So, you know, our green glue has this fun tip on the one end. So you just smush it out and then just pull it. So just get a little bit going. You don't need any more than you need. And really, if you just get all 4 edges, unless you tore your trunks, because on my other ones, 2 of the trunks busted. So I just, once I was done putting this on, I just put a little dab on the trunks and then just kind of clean this off. But the reason you kind of want stuff on here is because, like I said, when it's pressed to the card, you see it a little bit better. And so far so good. I don't have any on my hands. This is the part where I got it on my hands when I pressed it on here. So just take your piece of paper and then start with the bottom. Just lay it on there. And that's the other good thing about green glue. See, I've got it on me now. Is that if it's on wrong, you can lift it up and just press it on. And see now, because it's flat to it, you just see a whole lot more of that. You don't lose that beautiful paper and the beautiful background. Okay, so now I want to just add a couple of little highlights. You don't have to. You can just put it straight here on your white card. And I just went with white because that way, if you get it on here a little crooked, you have a little bit of leeway. But see, it's a tiny bit off, but that doesn't matter. So we have our deer. Gonna put it maybe in a different spot, maybe not. You wanna decide. On my other one, it worked just perfect here. I don't wanna cover up the whole mountain, but I think that'll work. So I just wanted to add a couple of little embellishments, mostly so I could show you some. Make sure there's no glue on that. So this is the baker's twine from our baseball set, the baseball suite. So you can see it's got this is my favorite one actually. And this one would work if we had done the other side of the paper. Look. So it's got the green, and then, but I'm going to use this blue. I think it's navy. It may be midnight. I didn't open the catalog to look because it matches the card. So I'm just going to take this. I'm going to take my adhesive. So if I use the summer side of the paper and I'm making a summer one, or you're doing the spring one. So if you're doing the summer one, we've got the star embellishments, the new stars. Those would be super fun to put on here. If you're doing spring, we've got the new butterflies. You could put butterflies on it. I'm obviously doing a winter one. And, okay, now here's the deal. I did this last time too. It might be hard to see on camera. This is all wintry, or like, you see, it's got ground here. I don't want to cover that up. And I did that last time too. I just did it a little high, but my deer's going to go there. I don't want to cover that up with my twine. So I'm going to put this here. Now it's better. I did that exact same thing, and I told myself, don't do that when you film. And then I'm just gonna wrap it twice. So it just adds a little bit of, kind of bases that bottom, kind of anchors it, since it's got a lot of white going on. And just trim that. But you could easily change your embellishments to whatever season. Same pack of paper, same stamp sets. See, the horizon, the one on a horizon bundle that goes with this paper is more sea, you know, or lake or water based, I guess. Not that it can't do all seasons. And then before I glue it on here, I'm gonna make sure, see, this is not good. What did I do? I twisted it. There we go. You just want to make sure before you stick it on your card that this is all, there we go. And then when you go to put this on, make sure that right here where this is going to be, you got enough adhesive that's going to hold your twine on there. So that both of these bundles, if you get either the horizon, obviously that's part of the suite, or if you get this one, I think the paper's a must-have. I just have to decide. I almost wish this was a live, but I have my pajamas on, so I'm not going live today with my pajamas on. I have far too much to do. I have so many emails I have to answer today, and I have to mail stuff. See, green glue would do this better. We're just going to go with it. It's going to be a little off center. I should have been looking and not talking, and I did that too. I'm going too fast. This is going to be a little bit different on this one. I'm just going to pull it back over here. But it's going to work, and I'll show you why. This one's just going to be a little bit different than my other one. But if I was live, I could ask you your opinion on which you all would like to do for a class better. So here's the 2 little leaves that we cut. I'm going to take the big ones first. And just stick those in that adhesive that I have stuck there. And now my little one. Here. I'm going to take a dimensional for my deer. Now with the, we already have the green glue out, right? So you could do, isn't that pretty? Just a little highlight of, kind of highlight our deer. So I almost used these, the sparkle and shine, but because like I said, I'm in a hurry and I want to get this filmed and then I need to get them, oh, I can't even open it. I want to get them edited and then move on to my next project. So I didn't want to kind of wait for these, but these are in the new catalog. So I just want to show them to you. So there's these. And again, you could just pull out the stars if you're doing a summer card. How fun would that be, just to have a starry night? So these, if you're not doing just a snow look, I think that these would be fun for all year. Obviously, you could put these fireflies. It's a good option. So I wanted to show those to you. Don't think of them as just snow, because those, I think, have a lot of potential as you do year-round things. But, you know, this is obviously a winter scene. So I'm going to use these. I think they're part of the Valentine. I'm 99.9% sure, but I'm taking the thing off. They were my free gift with purchase. So all of you that bought from me in December will be getting them soon, because I'm going to order them today. So they'll be coming to a bunch of you soon. So I'm just going to add them. They're super pretty. They're really, really iridescent. Just gonna add 3 to this one. I added 5 to the other one. This has more going on in the background. So here we have this winter scene, and it was with this purpley pink kind of mountains. That could kind of be a house in the background. I guess some of you may think it's tombstones, but it's got this like little ranch in the background, maybe Yellowstone, big finale last night. Here's the one that I did here. This is the one I made earlier today. So this one's much more, I think, just off in the distance wintry. Isn't that one pretty? But look, I did want to show you now where to put the card. It's over here. So this piece of paper, I didn't even realize that I used, and maybe it's not. I don't think that. I think it is the same piece of paper. I just maybe it's not. I don't know. The pieces of paper all start to look the same. So look at how much fun this paper is. I mean, it's a must-have. But now, see this with one of these. For a summer one, or look at this one for a spring one. So I don't know, this may be my online class. I may stick with On the Horizons, because I know some of you were excited about it. Look at this. I have some, the last time we went to Scotland, I got some beautiful, beautiful sunset pictures. This one really reminds me of that one. But just look at the potential. I mean, some of these pieces of paper, when you look at them, you're like, yeah, I don't know what to do with that. Just lay this on top of it, and you got something. And it's the same thing with this little fence. I mean, the fence does kind of the same thing, where it kind of caps it off. And in fact, if you have the two sets together, you can have the fence, and then you can put a deer. I mean, they'll mix together really well. So that's what I have. Make sure you're on my email list. Make sure that you open your email on Tuesday. The number of you who tell me that you miss specials because you don't check your emails on the days that I have them, or like when Stampin' Up! Does a flash sale. I try to give you a heads up. So the specials, my catalog kickoffs are always 2 days. So the day it kicks off and then the day following, that way you have a little extra time. So the thank you gifts will stay the same the entire month of January. But if you purchase on Tuesday or Wednesday, then you'll get a little additional goodie. And of course, it's celebration. So Stampin' Up's throwing in lots of freebies too. So everybody have a great one. And by the time this posts, I will have decided, unless there's a stock issue and then I have to switch. But at least we have some backups, right? Everybody have a great one, and I look forward to seeing you back here later. Bye.